It's time to lay down our weapons. Listen, even
It is
Joe.
time. Hey, Gaspers, welcome back to Gasp, the podcast for the gays, the girls, and especially the gay girls. This week, we're talking about what all the bisexuals and all the sapphics and all the lesbians are talking about and fighting over. I thought I would bring on one of my really good friends from college, fellow sapphic and huge Fletcher fan, because I felt like she's the source and what we need. We needed her today.
I brought props also. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna
You
pull it
brought
up.
props?
My signed Fletcher CD.
Oh my God,
That's
see,
my proof.
she
Okay.
is a super fan.
Okay.
I needed someone from the Fletcher community to give me like their 2 cents. Anyways, as we all know, it's Pride. What does that mean? The bisexuals, the lesbians are fighting yet again, literally on day 2 of Pride, as if to increase the tensions even more. And Fletcher saw us all arguing on the internet. She was like, let me drop just a perfect song for this moment. And in a really brave thing, she released a song called Boy. She actually came out, I put that in quotes, as having a boyfriend, much to the aghast of lesbians and everyone around the world. Also, her song was accompanied with boy merch and just kind of like, what's it called? Put salt in the wound. Honestly, that was it for me when I saw the boy merch. Lesbians have called out Fletcher for her trad wife marketing and poorly timed announcement during Pride. Bisexuals are calling out lesbians for their reaction, saying, a lot of this reaction is biphobic. Today, we're going to discuss all of this, give our 2 cents, give our opinions on it. Yeah, that's why I brought Lexi. We need to talk about it. Also, like, she had to just come in the pod at some point.
Like inevitable,
Yeah,
literally. I'm so excited to be here.
I feel like we're equally online as well.
Oh, chronically online.
Yeah.
I've heard every take. I'm very excited to just share my opinions. I am the number one Fletcher fan. Um, and I still might, I don't, okay, controversial. I still might be after this. I'm gonna be honest. But we're
That's
gonna get into
fine.
it. And I understand. But here's the thing, I understand. I've read everything and I understand. But we're gonna go back and forth. I'm excited to have a productive discussion because
Yeah.
I'm
Well, is it going to be productive? Tell me how you got into Fletcher.
Yeah, absolutely. So COVID was a dark time for everyone, as we know. And I was just going through a really hard time. And I actually
And
saw,
also figuring out your sexuality. And may I just add, that was like the time that me and Lexi got like really close. It was like when college was ending. And I
yep,
felt like, and I won't, put any specific details in here, but you definitely were like testing the waters with your questions. Like I could tell
yes.
that you were trying to figure out if you were gay in some way.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. The
absolutely.
perfect time to start listening to Fletcher.
Perfect time, literally kismet. So I saw a TikTok of hers. And I was like, oh, it was like a duet of a TikTok. And this song, Bitter, was, and I was like, wait, this is good. And I was like going through it and I was like, wait, this is eating. And it kind of like, I kind of relate to the lyrics a little bit because I'm feeling bitter. And so I just like went down a TikTok rabbit hole as everybody does. Like I listened to one song, then I listened to her EP, and I was like, I just really like the music and like the lyrics really resonated with me at the time. And I just
Of
became like obsessed. Like I was watching music videos. Like I just really latched on. And then once like COVID was like a little bit like we were able to like gather in groups, I like went to 2 of her concerts. And I actually like have made so many friends through Fletcher randomly. Like I like would go to the concerts by myself randomly because like if my friends didn't want to go, I was like, I'm going by myself because I love her music.
That's so impressive. Like I've always been so impressed that you can just like go to concerts by yourself.
Sometimes like I go to concerts and I don't want to talk to anybody, but with Fletcher, I was like, I was just so excited to be there. And I've actually like made like lifelong friends that I still talk to all the time.
How many shows do you think you've been to?
Oh, wait. It's I think I've been to 9 total.
That's a pretty significant amount.
Yes, yes.
Wait, is there a Fletcher fan base name?
Yes, we are the Fletch fam.
Fletch fam. I feel
The
like you
Fletch
guys are
fam.
like the Fletchies.
The Fletch. I know. Well, now we might be the Carrie cult or so.
Oh,
Oh,
Lord. Wait, really? It's that? Okay, wait.
we.
Pin. So important to have you on because the things that I don't know,
I got it.
yeah. I don't even think I said, but welcome to the pod.
Thank you. I'm excited
You're
to be
welcome.
here.
I just want to say some announcements for
Yes.
listeners. It is Pride, obviously, and so I have a Pride bonus series on Patreon you can listen to or watch. You just have to subscribe. And I also have a Pride merch giveaway because I made Pride merch. It's very cute, it's very galar, it's very specific.
Mm,
So that giveaway, you get a free piece of merch if I draw your name. So
okay.
you should subscribe because then you can get free merch, and I'm drawing a name every single week. So you can also register for that in my Patreon. Just subscribe. Oh, also, I'm shouting out another Patreon number one Gasper this week because if you are a subscriber, you get a shout out. So shout out to Patreon member Ren. Thank you so much for listening. And yeah, happy Pride. Lexi, since I've seen you, I feel like I've so many little things have like come up in my life. Like I don't know if Mercury's in retrograde or something, but I told you about how my car got towed.
Ugh,
My car got towed yesterday.
homophobic.
It's homophobic. I am so bad at misplacing things. I came home from the store
Uh-huh.
and I was going to throw away some trash in the trash chute of my apartment building. I have the car keys, remember, of the car that was just towed yesterday.
What
And
happened?
I had accidentally thrown my car keys down the trash chute
Wait, oh my God. Wait, what do they do when you
of
do
my
that?
apartment building. And I literally had a freak out alone. I panicked. How did I just do that? Like, how did I even just do that? Like, I threw it away with my trash down the trash chute. How am I going to get another key? I can't tell Sophia because, like, I just had our car towed yesterday. Like I can't have something wrong again. So I went down the front desk and me and four other people went through the trash, like this huge trash thing. Yes, this happened an hour ago
Girl.
in the basement of my apartment building and I fucking found it.
Oh my God. I can't believe you found.
I'm shocked that I found it. I literally was like starting to pray to God for the first
Yeah.
time in a while.
St. Anthony.
So I
That
literally was like, thank you, St. Anthony. Like,
the classic Hailey story. I'm glad you found them because something is in the air. Something is not right. What is going on, you know?
I think it's pride in Trump's America.
No, and that was never supposed to happen. That wasn't something that should be happening. It's just everything's a miss. That's why all of the queer celebrities have lost their minds this month.
Dude, okay. And now, great segue. We can get
Uh-huh.
into it. I do think that that's a reason why a lot of people are more upset about a lot of. We need to call it something. I know that it was like the lesbian
Like
apocalypse like 2 years ago. Maybe we need to bring back lesbian apocalypse.
boy gay, like
Billy, it's Claro, Jojo
JoJo
Siwa.
Siwa.
And I know it's not all the same because like not all of them identify as lesbians. They're not necessarily like coming out as straight. We are losing lesbian representation.
Yeah, and it's hard because I see both sides of it. Like they're obviously so valid, but it's hard when it was like such a big moment. And then now it's not that moment anymore. And it just feels like they're maybe not as open about being queer because of the current climate we're in. And it just like, it just feels stifling, even if it's not necessarily what exactly is happening. It's just the context just makes it
Yeah,
hurt more.
right. And it's like, yes, I know, I guess like specifically with Fletcher, that this is Fletcher's personal journey,
Yeah.
but she has to realize that like she was only one of the few like singer-songwriters that I don't know, people associated with like lesbianism.
Yes.
And was only in the sapphic world, like not in the same way that like Miley Cyrus, like everyone knows is like queer, bisexual, but yeah,
So
like she was like even if she wasn't a lesbian, has never identified as a lesbian, she still was associated like as a lesbian. And when you were unveiling that you're dating a guy, and she knew it was is going to be an interesting thing to announce to people, think about your marketing. I don't know.
I know it's hard because on the one hand, it's obviously like bad timing. I feel like announcing like that you're dating a man during Pride Month is like she knew it was going to be bad. That's the thing. She knew it was going to be bad. Some people are like she should have released it in a different month. I feel like she would have gotten the same backlash no matter what month it was. To be honest, people would be upset and just critique her for dating a man, having a sapphic audience, like, and she's never said she's a lesbian, right? And like I think her real fans, like not well, yeah, her real fans, like the people who like care about her, I think that they know that they're
Oh,
not.
tea. You think so?
Yeah,
Did you like know that she wasn't like necessarily like a lesbian?
So this is good context. So in an interview that she did with a magazine, it might have been like Gay Times or Them. She is like has this quote of how she's always felt queer and that a specific label has not defined her and that she feels much like broader and bigger than to be defined by any label in her sexuality. And she got a lot of critique and hate for that. People were ripping her apart
E.
for yeah, and like it was a smaller conversation because I think it was more kind of like internal
Yeah.
discussion. That my other thing too is I think that everyone is like always gonna like critique Fletcher. Like a lot of people just straight up don't like her. And you know what? Like if that's your MO, like that's fine. So all that's to say is I think that like she knows that she's gonna get critiqued. But was Pride Month the best month to do it? Maybe not. But also like I don't know. Like obviously bisexuals and pansexuals and queer people still belong at Pride. So I like see both sides of it. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, well, she's obviously still queer and like it's still Pride Month for her too, but it's also like the song was so male centric. And it's like,
Yes, I totally. Okay, so a few things you said there. First of all, I had no idea that she did that interview. And
yeah.
like I remember people pointing out that like she had maybe written a song about a guy. Or did you tell me that?
Interesting, like in her songs, she has like two or three songs, and I could probably like regurgitate the lyrics where she talks about formerly falling in love with guys. So like Girl of My Dreams. She opens it with like there was a boy who had the greenest eyes, I think is the lyric.
Right.
There's another song where she's talking about like I've broken girls' hearts and boys' hearts too. So but it's none of her like big singles or songs that are really popular. So she's like referenced men before, but like in her past. So I feel like in my head, I was like kind of biased too. I was like, oh, she's like just gay. And like her writing about those men, like in her past, it wasn't just her being like heteronormative or hadn't realized she's gay yet. Like I think that she really does look at those equally. And I think for me and a lot of other fans too, it was like, no, she's really bisexual, pansexual, queer, however you want to label it. And like,
Yeah.
it's just hard. It's
Yeah.
hard because people assume.
It is hard, and I feel like I didn't think that she was necessarily a lesbian, but I guess I just didn't think that dating men was ever on her horizon. Like,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like maybe she didn't choose it because like in the lyrics it says like, oh, like should we read the lyrics of Boy?
I don't know if I could read the lyrics. Like I'm gonna make the and I love
Wait,
Fletcher so much.
I
It's so
tried to play the song for Sophia and she literally wouldn't listen to it. Not because she
I
was like, oh, whatever, but she was just like, it's so bad. Like, it's like his lips were soft. His lips were soft. I had no choice. Girl, you sound like me writing a song in sixth grade.
yeah, that's the other hard truth that I don't want to contribute to like her negative and I'm not hating, but it's not her best song. It's not her
Yeah,
most well-written song. And she's not known for like
her
sorry.
songwriting.
Let me I've seen a lot of discourse about like her other songs that are more tongue-in-cheek. They use kind of internet language of like flame emoji wow it, like that kind of stuff where it's like fun and silly because the song isn't necessarily serious. Like all of her songs are fun or toxic or like
Right, right.
in this song, she's still trying to use that social media language, but the song is supposed to be serious and vulnerable and it doesn't really strike the right tone. Like
That's such a good point because like when she uses those lyrics, like the lyric in Boy, is it called Boy or is it called The Boy?
no, it's called Boy. It's called Boy.
Girl, I mean, that's the issue. It's like if she had released a song during Pride being, and like the whole thing was like, I kiss girls, I kiss guys, I'm still gay, happy Pride. Like, no one
Yes.
would care. Okay, that's not true. I'm sure there were still people that would care. I wouldn't care.
Yeah. And
It's
it's
like, I kissed a boy. It's like the whole thing is about boy. I don't care what your identity is. I don't want to hear about a straight man during Pride. And I'm
yes.
bi. Like, I don't even want to. Like, the flame emoji wow thing I thought was always a little cringy, but it was okay because the song was so fucking fire and Becky's so hot. I know it wasn't on your bingo card, saying in like a soft way. I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah, it didn't resonate as well and it wasn't and I completely agree about the song being so male centric and I think I've seen a lot of that conversation online too exactly what you said of like if it was more about her attraction to both men and women and whoever else. Like it's just all about the guy, very like male centric,
Mhm.
kind of like what? It's just
Right.
like so yeah. And then another thing too that I always think about is like, is this all just payback for Becky So Hot? Like, is she just like I'm sorry, like I can't with her. I don't know. Like I love her so much, but she stirs up this controversy and
Yeah,
this
she
drama,
absolutely does.
and it's a part of her marketing. And it's like, I don't know. I think we're all getting kind of tired. I don't know. I don't want to see her like getting hated online, but it's like, girl, this is what you want, I guess. I don't know.
It's so weird too because her attitude during Becky's So Hot and like during her tweets and everything was like standing firm with what she was doing. And honestly, even though it was like kind of toxic behavior, what she was doing with Becky's So Hot, I mean, we talked about this at the time. I didn't really feel like it was that problematic, but obviously it was in order to stir up drama because it's something that I would do
Of course, of
is
course.
like write a song about like my ex's new girlfriend or something. Like I feel like I would do that. She was just like
No.
leaning into it and like she obviously wanted the drama, but it's weird that now she knew that this was going to cause drama, but her reaction is not like, "No, I'm going to stand firm on this." It's kind of like, "If you I hope you guys still like me." And it's like the reason why that's frustrating is because she's not really doing something that outside of this very specific community would be considered groundbreaking.
Right. Right. You're completely right of how her persona used to be like unapologetic and like
Absolutely.
a little like fierce. I don't know. What's like I
Yeah.
want to say bitchy, but I don't know if I could
Fierce.
call someone else
Like
bitchy, but
like
it's
mean femme energy.
yes, mean femme, like I don't give a fuck and you're gonna deal with it. And I think that like it's so interesting. I think a lot of people obviously are critiquing that, like being in a heteronormative relationship is like not a big deal. But it is hard because I think that she does know that her fans are gonna be pissed and like everyone's gonna be upset. And I do like empathize with her in the way of she knew what the reaction was going to be and everyone is kind of proving her point. It is
Right.
also hard because she is taking such like a sad, what is that? Like just sad and like
Like
very down.
self-pity. So it's like difficult because I think that two things can be true at once. Like it,
Another Fletcher song. Sorry, had to
oh
say it.
yeah, yeah. I feel like she absolutely knew that she was gonna get hate, and I feel bad that like, she has to lose fans like based on who she's dating. Because I
Yeah.
don't think like who she's dating is the problem. However, like if she was my friend, I would be like, ew, why are you dating a man? So I think like she's getting backlash. She's also getting like really mean backlash. The question is, and maybe we can get into this like a little bit later,
Mm-hmm.
what is biphobic and what is just hate?
Uh, yeah. Yeah. Well,
And
it's
we are the ones to solve it.
me and you were gonna solve it right here, right
We'll
now.
decide.
Call the human rights
Yeah, no,
committee.
give us a call. We'll go through the comment and we'll decide is that biphobic or not.
And what we say is law, actually. So
I,
we've never been wrong ever. I actually have correct opinions about
no,
everything. So
absolutely. Name a time.
I can't. I personally can't. No, I was just gonna say, I think that I feel like it's a little biphobic for all of us. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I
Give
don't know
it
if
to
I want
me.
Okay, okay. Here's the thing. Is it kind of biphobic just to assume that Fletcher is just gonna date women? I don't know. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like if we're just gonna, because in the same way that it's biphobic of like assuming that someone's only gonna date a man, like, I don't know. I just
Hmm.
feel like we're women. We have to wrestle with the fact that we just all assumed something and then Fletcher kind of subverted that expectation. And I feel like a lot of this is like internal disappointment and it's not I'm like, is it Fletcher's fault? I don't know.
I
The
see.
marketing, maybe her fault. But you know what I mean? What do
Yeah.
you think? I mean,
Okay, so I did find out this news before she dropped it.
we have
And
inside sources.
I do think that my reaction was like, oh, that's so disappointing that like I can't really relate to her music anymore. But I wasn't really like mad at her, if that makes sense.
Yep.
But I was more like I
Yeah.
just felt a little bit more removed. Like I didn't feel like I was like
Same.
as focused on like her and what she was doing. Now I'm like annoyed and like I wouldn't say angry at the marketing. It's hard to think about like what the response would be if she just like posted her boyfriend like on her Instagram and then like released like a pride song. You know what I mean? But I see what your point is. I do think that there's a level of like just assuming that she was a lesbian because she's like in a sapphic space.
Like if she like did a tell-all interview or like, worked with like I don't know, some like
PR
publication.
agency.
Well, yeah, and like I just wonder if she like launched her boyfriend in a different, softer way and didn't make the whole song and album release about it. Like I feel like it wouldn't be as big of a deal, but the song is really where I like the music. I like need to face the music like literally and
For real.
figuratively. I'm like I can't get past that because I just don't enjoy the song and I feel very removed, you know?
Yeah, it's like clouding my judgment, like genuinely. And like I'm kind of forgetting who she is. Like if she was wearing like a hot outfit and like
Mhm.
posted genuinely, if she released a great album that was like she can mention him, I don't care, but it's like good music and it's not like soft baking bread, whatever. And then like released an Instagram and she's wearing like a normal outfit that she would wear and like she looks hot like behind the stage like kissing a guy or something. I genuinely don't think I would be as pissed.
Yeah, exactly.
That would seem like something she would do. Like it just feels like she's like not who she is. And maybe we can go into the cult allegations.
Wait, let's get into this because all compounded by the Carrie of it all, like the song almost sounds country. She's in a field. It is such a tone shift from why I love Fletcher. I love her being
Right.
unapologetic and a little messy and a little
Yes.
dramatic, right? And none of this is that. And so I'm just like on top of her dating a man, which is, fine, all good, love bisexuals. But then this whole tone shift, like what? That's where I'm like, is the album even gonna be good?
Now, okay, that she's dating this guy, that it's like this soft love.
Yeah.
And I can see, I actually genuinely don't think she went into it with like super bad intent.
Yeah.
But I also think she knew that there was going to be some drama, and I bet her marketing team was like, let's just send it, don't shy away from it, just like make it your whole new thing, lean into it, song that's boy, merch that's boy, bam, bam, bam. And like, I think she felt like she had to do this whole rebrand in order to like make sense of it.
Yes.
But the
Yes. Oh my
rebrand is what's the really the problem.
Yes, I completely agree with you. She did not mean to have bad intentions, but it is hard. The compounding of everything, the heteronormativeness of the relationship, the soft girl era, her name, her being Carrie instead of Fletcher, and then kind of the outfit, her out in nature. It just feels like a 180 from literally this.
Right. Yeah, why
What?
could this could have been the same album cover with her dating a man?
Yep. And she could have put boy on this album because I just
Yeah,
don't
honestly, genuinely, if she
like
had
she
put a
could.
song named Boy on that, it would have been almost okay.
Is it my favorite Fletcher song? No. Even said like she had her own questions when she fell in love with this guy. But then have you heard that maybe that this isn't her first boyfriend? Have you heard
Yeah,
that?
let's talk about that. The
Okay.
theory is that the first guy was like this band member guy from some band. I looked him up. He's not cute enough for Fletcher to be dating him. And honestly, and I'm not even going to shy away from this.
Okay,
Okay.
let's do it.
I don't want anyone to date a man. And I think it's just more like, for me, man-hating behavior. The second guy is like a finance guy.
Okay, apparently he's the CEO of Liquid IV. This is not confirmed.
Business.
I'm very like good for her to get that bag. I don't know. I just don't know.
I also hate that there was a man out there, and not just one, two, that felt like, oh, I can get it. I can get her.
Yeah,
Not that
yeah.
they're changing her because she's queer, but just like, why do you think that she would? Oh, I hate that.
Did you see? So the first guy is named Jaguar Twin, I think is his name.
Okay, yes.
So he was going to open for her on her Australian leg of her tour because I think he's Australian. 1+1. So he was associated with a like yoga spiritual group that some would um compare to a cult.
This whole thing. Because I don't know much about this.
Yes. So this organization, a spiritual organization that does like lots of yoga practices and things, um, they had like sexual misconduct allegations. And when he was her opener on tour, everyone was like up in arms, like, why is this guy that's associated with this organization that does not respect women? Like, why are you even entertaining that? So he was then removed as her tour opener. Then everyone found out that Carrie Fletcher is also on that cult website.
Right.
So, but then she was like, I think that she like removed herself and she kind of explained like I think what kind of happened was like I don't think she fully realized like what that organization was, and I think she took like a entry level yoga class or like did like went to like a workshop or something, and then they kind of attached her name to the organization. This is all like speculation.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't know the truth, but I that's what I feel probably happened is that she didn't really know what she was getting herself into. Um, then now everyone is kind of piecing together that maybe Jaguar Twin and her like dated or they were probably in a situationship or something because, and this is all backed up because on his Twitter, he released like a demo of a song that was like, Hope You Find Your Antidote. And that's obviously the name of her most recent album, In Search of the Antidote, which is crazy. And I'm like, I don't like did she lead him on? Or maybe they were in a relationship, or maybe he felt like maybe she didn't want him. I don't know. I could weave stories and stories, but it's crazy.
Whoa. And maybe she was like, I can't be associated with this cult anymore. So
He was promoting it on like social media, and I think he had perhaps like a smaller position in the organization. I think him being associated in any way with that organization was like, enough to,
yeah.
you know,
Cut.
be problematic. So I've also heard conversations that some people are worried that she still might be associated with that organization. But I don't really know if that's true. But I think just with this whole context of everything going on, of like
Right.
the Carrie, the natural, it's all kind of giving that same like
Yeah.
spiritual healing like vibe. Anyway,
And you're like running through the fields and you are suddenly Carrie and you're like, this is like, would you still love me if you knew who I really was? Like, this is more like who she really is. And she unveils the boyfriend. It's just like, from a fan's perspective, you're seeing a lot of change. And even if it's not actually change, it like is outward marketing change of her persona.
yes. I have so many thoughts about this.
Tell
So,
me.
Carrie Fletcher is her name, okay? And she has always talked about in her interviews since her debut album, before the debut album, she's always talked about how Fletcher is kind of her Sasha Fierce, her stage persona, right? And how she kind of like, because Fletcher in real life is very like more like soft-spoken, very chill.
You would
Like
know. Lexi spent a whole day with Fletcher. When you met up with her, was this before or after she was dating a guy based on the timeline we know now?
it was before. When I've met Fletcher in meet and greets and other things, she's like very shy, very reserved, like she's not super outgoing or crazy. So she's always associated Fletcher as this like bigger than life persona that she puts on and embodies when she's on stage. Then, as her career has evolved and progressed, she's always talked about the reconciliation between Carrie and Fletcher and how she is trying to find balance between them. And I think that as she's gotten older and evolved and gone through life, like I think that she almost was trying to blend Carrie and Fletcher. And that's what she talked about in Search of the Antidote, is how she wants to find the balance of Carrie, Carrie and Fletcher. Now I'm a little bit worried because she's like, no, it's all Carrie. And I feel like maybe the spin is like she wants to, reveal the like more softer side of herself. But again, with the context of boy, it's just concerning. Even if this is her
Yeah.
like truth, it has nothing to do with being, in this relationship or being associated with X, Y, and Z. It's still like it's all just bad timing. And we haven't heard the album, so maybe it is still like some Fletcher in there, some craziness, some dramatics, but it's just poor timing because she has been talking about this, but I don't think many like people have been paying as deep of attention as
Yeah.
I have and her fans have, so
Yeah, totally. Okay,
yeah.
that's very good insight because Right. Like, even if she is still trying to figure out the balance between the two, from a fan's perspective, it's like Fletcher was abandoned,
Yes.
is now Carrie.
Yes.
And as much as she's been queer this entire time and has never identified as a lesbian, like, even though, maybe we shouldn't assume that everyone who's like been dating women for a long time is a lesbian, she is associated and referred to as a lesbian.
Yeah.
She has to know that that was happening. And
Yeah.
now Fletcher, the persona, has now been associated with like lesbian, whether
Yeah.
or not that's like her fault. And now Carrie is the one that dates boys. Like, and even though she's like been queer the entire time, it's just now that's kind of the album we're like sitting with, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely. And it's hard. It's hard because this new lead single for her next album isn't gonna resonate with the majority of her audience, right?
Yeah.
Like it genuinely feels like I work in marketing. It just feels like a bad marketing move. Like, why are you going to give a product to your audience that is like does not resonate with, is not going to enjoy? But that's the thing.
Yeah.
She doesn't owe her fans like it's like this has been a whole other back and forth. What does she owe her fans? Her fans, like, what are they entitled to know? Like, right? They're not
Yeah.
entitled to know everything, or I don't know. Is Fletcher in service of her fans, or I mean, she really kind because she kind of really just did this for herself, right? And like
Right.
it's
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 like, yes, like you can do this for yourself, but also just be aware that like you're probably going to lose people that won't resonate with your music anymore. Hi, Lexi. She's
Hi,
just
Sophia.
she just came back from work. Um,
Period. This is kind of the conversation me and my friends who are fans of Fletcher have been having is like, can she even recover from this? I think it's gonna be more challenging than her other controversies.
totally. Is it a marketing move in order to just find a whole new group of fans? I think she's going to lose a lot of fans, and I think a lot of the people that she's losing aren't necessarily being like, oh, fuck you, but maybe just like can't relate. Because, like, from my perspective, I wouldn't ever say, like, oh, I'm a Fletcher fan. Like, I've listened to a lot of her songs, but I'm not like seeking out her music, you know? And so I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of the reason why I was listening to it is because it was like sapphic. And
Yes.
so, will I be inclined to listen to her? Probably not. Because the whole reason I was listening to her is because she was like talking about women in her songs. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. I'm interested to see what the album consists of. The other thing is that the album comes out in July. So why did she feel the need to release it during Pride? It's obviously on purpose. And obviously she's queer. She can release anything on Pride. But like, I don't know. It's just like, even when you are bi and dating a man during Pride, is that the focus of your Pride? The man? It's fine, but like maybe your sapphic listeners like won't, I don't see that being a good marketing decision.
It's just hard because the whole thing is heteronormative, even if she herself is queer. And I just struggle with like, she obviously still has a place at Pride and she's able to do whatever she wants. It was weird. It was just weird timing, weird timing.
I understand the merch was like donated. Wait, what are you gonna say?
That the merch is all donated to Trans Life, which is good, but I'm not buying it. No, why would I buy that? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'll wait for my
Right. Like, I would buy like it's not even like her face is on it. It's just boy. And so it's like, yes, like it's not even like it's like queer proud. Like, that's, you're releasing stuff during Pride that doesn't feel Pride focused or about her identity. Boy, it's just boy. It's like literally so bad camp. I can't even explain it. But like a shirt with boy on it when you're pitching it to a mostly sapphic lesbian fan base, it's not gonna go over well. And not because people are like, fuck you, but it's more like, what?
Wait, what? I know, I agree. I Fletcher's merch has can have some improvements, I will say, and not just this era, every era. I'm like, some of it we could have hit harder. Even if the donations do go to Trans Life organization, like obviously that's amazing, but I think it was the least she could do after this whole controversy, you
It is
know?
the least that she can do. Branding of boy. It's soft girl, but it's also trad wife baking bread vibes. And that's like, and not even that that she would be a trad wife, but that's just the aesthetic that like we're seeing coming around and like as a recession indicator, and like with just like the culture getting so conservative, like even influencers are like, oh my God, something that like you want to lean into, and it's like trad wife, like even the ones you don't even think would like give that, it's like all soft girl country getting more modest and conservative. And I understand that that probably wasn't her intention to give off trad wife. Hopefully, I don't think it was. But it's like you have to think about how something's going to come off in the current culture, even though it was your personal decision. And same thing with the JoJo Siwa, and less kind of with the Billie Eilish and Clairo because they didn't really do any marketing or like fucking anything around that or like any press or anything. But same thing with like JoJo Siwa saying like, oh, sexuality is fluid. You have to be careful about what you say because like unfortunately, there are only so many like queer celebrities. There's crazy conservatives being like, oh my God, look, a man can turn Fletcher straight.
Yeah, it's just so interesting the parallels like with JoJo because she wants to go by Joelle. It's very similar to Carrie and Fletcher. Um, and I do think that,
Keep your name and be queer and keep your stage name. Like, I don't get like why you're a soft girl because you're fucking a man.
yeah. Have you seen that thing on TikTok of girls are wearing like milkmaid dresses in the club and the shorts, the skirts are getting longer?
Exactly. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like this fashion thing that's changing too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like soft girl feminine, like lean into your feminine energy and oh, you're like submissive, like let him like lead you. And that's not something Fletcher's pushing, but like in intentionally. What would have been so Fletcher is if she was like saying a song about having a boyfriend, then being like, I top him or some fucking shit. Like, I don't know, like, oh, like I peg, like
Egg.
yeah, like I feel like that sounds like something Fletcher would do. And everyone would be like, okay, per like, I don't know, like
No, 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 no. I agree. But the thing is like she wants to lean into this Carrie side of her, which isn't like that, I guess. We don't know. I guess we're gonna find out. But I'm also just like, that's not the Fletcher that we have known and how she grew her fan base.
right.
Um, and I feel like the music is gonna tonally shift as well. Nervous. I'm nervous. I'm nervous. It's
It's
very
like
weird.
the opposite of folklore. It got in the
Wait,
same
is that what she's doing?
aesthetic.
Is she trying to like have her folklore?
I think she's trying to have a folklore moment, but here's the thing. You have to have good lyrics. And the reason why folklore is good is because it was so fucking gay too. So it was like the opposite. Like Taylor Swift, like suddenly like getting more gay in folklore is like the opposite of Carrie Fletcher getting straighter and more folklore.
Actually, I never thought about it being her folklore, but that's what exactly what it's maybe giving is like she wants to have this vibe shift. She wants to unlock this new audience with this new
Mm.
music. But it feels a little early. I feel like she could still continue to establish herself, but I don't know.
I think
But here's
you're
the thing,
right.
Taylor.
Right. She hasn't like fully gotten to, I think she needed one more album of being like Fletcher. And
Yeah.
also just don't align that with your boy drop.
Yeah, yeah. It's like here's the thing. All of the aesthetic, the vibe shift, everything could have been fine, but it's also coinciding with this boy era that
Yeah.
is making it a little bit more uncomfortable. It's hard because she's a person, but it's also her job and her business. But people aren't like marketable products. But
Right.
I'm trying to go back and forth on like my like capitalistic like marketing view, and then it's like no, she's a human being with experiences, right? So it's like
Right.
who are we to say that she can't,
Yeah.
produce art about her own experiences, even if it's not what we want to hear or what she formerly was. I don't know. It's hard. I grapple with both sides of it.
Yeah, I think that's so fair. I think like she can release whatever she wants, and it just may not work out to be the best thing for your brand and business.
Yes, exactly, exactly. And that's okay. And maybe she's fine with that, honestly.
Right. Maybe
She
she's
sold out
canceling herself.
like the level of fame that some artists want to have. Like I think Chapel Roan, I don't think she expected to be as popular as she is. And then I think an artist like Renee Rapp maybe wants to be bigger and is still kind of growing on that
Yeah.
journey. And then like Fletcher, I would say is on par or maybe not as popular as Renee Rapp. But I just like, and I just wonder
Yeah.
like what goes through these artists' heads. Like, do they want to be mega stars and ultra famous? Do they just want to be gay famous and just, make
That's a
money and produce
very
the
good
art?
point.
You
I
know?
feel like Fletcher is kind of the same thing with Renee. Maybe she's using this to catapult her into like mainstream pop music.
Maybe. And that's what I'm wondering. I'm like, is she gonna find a new audience that because her music is more for the mass appeal? Like, will she maybe find a new audience?
I was just thinking about Sabrina Carpenter and like releasing like, Man Child and like how almost opposite it is. I hate you men, you're dumb and I blame your mom. And like she says that and we're all like, yes. Like it's just pretty funny. That like of all celebrities, she's like technically straight. She's appearing the most man-hating.
Hard.
Would people survive the bangers era today?
No, no, they would never. They would never
Right.
survive the Panther era today.
They wouldn't be able to handle it.
Okay, that's the other thing too. Is like, is this just going to be another controversy that we talk about for 2 weeks, and then Fletcher's going to release the album, and then like the fans are going to come out and be like, guys, it's not that bad. Like, that's what I also wonder is if like if this is a flash in the pan or is this like a permanent stain on her reputation?
Right. I feel like we won't know until
Yeah.
yeah, the album comes out. Okay, let's talk about the different POVs, what we think. I think that there's very good points on both sides. Bisexuals are such a huge and like queer people that aren't like firmly I am gay or I'm a lesbian. There's
Yep.
so many ways to be bisexual. And so I feel like when we talk about bisexuals as a monolith and bisexuals as like only dating men, like we almost need to like narrow it down when we're talking about certain people. There are a lot of bisexuals, like I think this is coming from like the lesbian point of view that are
Yep.
like not fully ingrained in like queer spaces, which it's like maybe you're just talking about baby gays. Like when we talk about bisexuals, you can't just say bisexuals are like gay light. And like that's totally biphobia that we're seeing like on the internet. And I think that there is something to be said for people recognizing their, I don't know, privilege when you're in a relationship that's with the opposite sex.
Right? Ugh, it's hard.
It's hard and it's like I think like there can be valid criticism from both ends.
Yeah. Like you're obviously still bisexual, but you'd be remiss not to like understand that you still like if you're in a heteronormative relationship, like you don't have to be worried about, harassment on the street or people treating you differently. And I feel like Fletcher's kind of point of view with this song doesn't really acknowledge that. Not that it has to, but it's interesting that
Yeah.
she's kind of not acknowledging any sort of privilege that she has. She's very worried about the fan reaction, which is also obviously valid, but
This is like the same lesbian point of view. And when I say like lesbian point of view and bisexual point of view, it doesn't mean like it is the point of view, but just like the overwhelming internet
opinions.
response from largely this identity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And so it's
Yeah,
like the lesbian point of view is like this self-pitying of her song being like, I'm so scared to tell you guys this.
right.
And I don't think she was actually saying this is the same experience as like dating a woman. And like I am
Yeah.
facing the same experience, but I can see that that feels like equating coming out as dating a guy is like the same thing as like coming out as dating a girl.
Yeah,
You
it's
know?
very, yeah, it's obviously not the same thing, but maybe to her fan base, it feels like that. It's the same nerves, it's the same anticipating a reaction. But it is hard because she's kind of looking at it at this like micro level of like her fan base and their reaction. But it's like, okay, when you pull back at the macro lens, it's like obviously, you're going to be fine in Northern California in regular society. So,
Yeah. Yeah, when you zoom in your very specific experience, Fletcher,
yep.
this is going to have backlash.
Mhm.
Like, and she's scared to do something. But that is not necessarily the same fear if you're like, no, like most people aren't pop stars trying to tell their fans something.
Yeah. And I think that a lot of like lesbians and gay people almost feel like just offended that she would even equate like a heteronormative relationship to like a coming out or like that kind of same fear, even if that is Fletcher's experience. I think that it almost feels insensitive to the like the weight of LGBTQ people in America right now, right? It's like
Right.
feels a little just
Linda.
off color, like not really aware of her like eco-political social.
Yeah.
It's just like, is this really the time to
Yeah,
say
no,
all of
like right. Like it's a very crazy time in politics right now. Like what are our most vulnerable members? Is it Fletcher telling her fans that she's dating a boy? She can still feel
yeah. And
those
she
feelings, but like when I was not dating a girl,
yeah.
my experience, like I couldn't even imagine how different it would feel. Like it's just completely different, the experience of like dating a girl and not dating a girl, or like being in like an outward gay relationship. Like it's just not even close to the same thing. And so like the privileges are very different. So I feel like a lot of the times that discourse is like missed online or not given enough credit. And not everything is biphobia when it's like honestly valid criticism of like people recognizing their privilege. And I would say that to like someone who's like femme passing, like both me and you
Yeah.
are not going to get harassed on the street because we don't look gay.
No,
And that doesn't mean
exactly.
we're not gay.
But yeah, but it's like obviously there's a privilege in that. And it's like, can Fletcher say all of that in a song?
Yeah.
No. She's
That's yeah, true.
right, but and she's trying in interviews, right? Well, I mean, I'm reading the bottoms of the
Yeah,
interviews. I'm
yeah.
reading articles, right? Not everyone is, but she's trying to direct, like, she has said that. She goes, obviously, my love life is not the biggest point of conversation right now. Trans lives are at stake. Like, we need to be advocating and protecting them. And she's trying to get at that in the press. It's just hard because not everybody's going to take the time to do that deep dive on her.
Yeah.
Um,
And
just
the
not great.
song isn't good.
Would I say it's her best? No.
You can say that.
Right?
Yes.
I feel bad.
Don't
I feel
worry.
bad. Not my favorite Fletcher song. I love her so much. I love all of her other songs. Shh, Don't Say It is very underrated.
I love that song.
I was in Atlanta at her last tour and she was trying to get everybody to jump and I was the only one in the crowd. I was like, hey,
You're probably towering over people because you're like 6 feet tall.
yes, I'm 6 feet tall. And anyway, it's just not my favorite song. I want to hear more. I want to know what this country folklore-esque vibe is. And here's the thing. Aren't pop celebrities, artists, aren't they allowed to have a flop album? Are they allowed?
I think they're allowed.
Is this going to be her like Casey Musgraves star-crossed, like where it's like the fans are like, is it going to be her Joanne, where it's not the fan favorite? But I don't think Taylor Swift
Wait.
has one. Ah!
Comparing Joanne to Casey Musgraves star-crossed is crazy.
Here's the thing. I don't think Taylor Swift has one of those. Some people would say Lover, but that's my favorite album. So
I
fuck
was
all you.
just gonna say, I feel like people would say Lover, but her version of a flop is not a flop.
Anyway, so maybe this is just Fletcher's flop era. I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it, but maybe it is. Maybe it's just an era that we're just gonna move past. I'm
I'd be
hoping
like,
that
never mind. Like,
we forgot. Let's
what?
just erase the narrative.
Honestly, I think she's never gonna recover with some people.
I
Like a lot
agree.
of people.
I mean, some people they didn't want to like listen to her, entertain her after Becky's So Hot. Like a lot of people were like, Becky was wronged. Like this is awful. Fletcher is so awful for doing this. I don't respect her. This was like, tasteless, et cetera, et cetera. Some people didn't want to be her friends. Other people critiqued her and still kept going to the shows and supporting her. And I think that this might be one of those make or break points for some people. And then if this doesn't resonate, will she go back to a more Fletcher, badass, unapologetic persona to try to kind of garner that audience and lean back into?
Yeah,
We'll
that's
see.
interesting. I feel like though the people that were criticizing her for the Becky's So Hot were still lesbians though.
Yeah,
And I feel like just because it's like a different type of flop.
this feels really more it's not alienating, but a lot of her fans are just straight
Yeah.
up not gonna be entertained by it or enjoy it. I was sorry, another thing, I was doing some research. This song, it's like it is not doing well on Spotify. It has like barely any listens. Like all of her other songs, even from her most recent album, have millions of streams. And sorry, hasn't even hit a million streams. It only has seven.
No way. It hasn't hit a million streams.
No. And all her other songs have hit like, and obviously they've been out longer, but like I'm like, girl, because
Wait,
I think
that's
a lot,
actually crazy.
yeah, and I'm like, girl, the few people that were tuned in, like, I don't know if anyone's listening to Boy on repeat. You know what I mean?
Right, they're listening to it once. I guess I honestly would have thought it would be a little bit higher because people would like listen just to like hear what all the fuss was about. But I guess everyone's like, there's no need.
Ugh.
It's
Oh,
also just like for it to come at this time, right after JoJo Siwa, literally at the peak of internet bisexuals, lesbians sparring at each other, is just like she just threw a bomb and then like ran away. I do think that the bisexuals and the lesbians need to just go to the same bar, make out with each other, be friends with each other. Most of the fighting is definitely online. Yes, there's valid biphobia, but
yeah, but let's all stop fighting and start kissing.
let's all stop fighting. Let's start kissing. And
Uh-huh.
also, who are we focused on most during Pride? Trans people and people that like look visibly queer and are being targeted like on the street.
It's time to lay down our weapons. Listen, even
It is
joke
time to lay
aside,
down our weapon.
lay down our weapon. And let's all just come together. We still have some time in June. We can work through this. So I think
We
we
can
need to
work
come
through it.
together. We can. And we need to fight the real enemy, which is I don't know who the real enemy is. I wish
Trump
Trump,
supporters.
Trump, obviously the real enemy.
No, who's the real enemy? Fletcher. I'm just kidding.
But like,
Trump.
ah.
Okay, I feel like we solved every issue. And I think if anyone's wondering if something's biphobic and like what the right answer is on something, just come to this video.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay, well, thanks so much for joining the pod, Lexi. We had to make this happen. If Fletcher does anything else, we might have to bring you back on so we can discuss the album drop.
Yes, I'm ready to come back for Fletcher. I'm ready to talk about Gaylor. I'm ready. I have a lot
Yes.
that we can talk about. So have me back whenever.
Okay, well, thanks everyone for watching. Happy Pride. Reminder to subscribe to my Patreon for the bonus Pride content and for the Pride giveaway. I'm literally just sending out free like merch to people. So you should subscribe. And happy Pride and stop fighting in the comments and go to a lesbian bar.
Yes. Yes. Stop fighting.
Stop fighting. Okay, bye. See you guys next
Bye.
week.